So today's video is about TTC acronyms. What does it all mean for people who are trying to have a baby? Hi, thanks for clicking on Simply Tanika. I am Tanika. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Let's hang out a while. If you are returning, welcome back. Let's get those babies, ladies.
I see the crystal raindrops fall and the beauty.
What's up, fertility fam? How are you? I hope you are well. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. What's up, fertility fam? All right, so today's video is about TTC acronyms. What does it all mean for people who are trying to have a baby? Okay, very first one, we're just gonna go in alphabetical order. AF, Aunt Flo, your period. Sometimes called the Wicked Witch, the lady in red, but yeah, AF is Aunt Flo. Baby dust is good wishes for getting pregnant or good vibes for getting pregnant. BBT, basal body temperature. So if you are measuring your temperature when you wake up in the morning and you're charting, you use your basal body temperature to do that. Typically after you ovulate, you're going to see an increase, and that's what you're looking for on your chart. And then you're also looking for how long your luteal phase is when you do basal body temperature, BBT. BD, it's a euphemism for sex, baby dancing, and not just any sex, but the sex that you're having after ovulation that could actually lead to a baby. So during your fertile window, if you're having sex, it's called baby dancing. Anything outside of that, just a horizontal mambo. BFP is big fat positive, as in big fat positive pregnancy test, and BFN is big fat negative. So all of us are hoping for our BFP, our big fat pregnancy test. CD stands for cycle day. So cycle day 1 is the day that you start your period, and the last day of your cycle is the day before your next period. So a lot of times we'll refer to cycle day 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when we hit ovulation, we'll change it to DPO. It's still a cycle day, but it's also DPO the day after ovulation. So DPO stands for day post ovulation. So you could be on cycle day 26 and it would be like DPO 1 if you had ovulation on cycle day 25. Does that make sense? All right, cervical mucus or cervical fluid is CM or CF, and a lot of times the ladies will refer to it as EWCM, egg white cervical mucus, because that's the fertile stuff. That's what we're really looking for. And basically it's when your cervical mucus looks like raw egg whites. And I think that part is pretty self-explanatory where it's coming from, right? It's coming from your cervix. You'll find it in your panties. You'll find it on your finger if you go hunting for it. When you are fertile, it is egg white and creamy. A lot of the apps ask for it now too. They want to know like if it's pasty, if it's not. If you're squeamish and you don't want to put your finger in there and you're just curious after a bowel movement or any pushing on the toilet, that's a good time to check for it as well. Wearing black underwear, you can see it there. Yeah, those are a few ways to check for your cervical mucus. CP is cervical position. So some women who chart look for their BBT, their basal body temperature, they look for their cervical mucus, and they look for their cervical position. There are different times, different positions depending on where you are in your cycle. So when it's show, which is soft, high, open, and wet, that's when you're ready. So soft is what it feels like when you're like touching the tip of your lips. Harder or firm is here on your chin, and I think there's one that's here, I don't remember, but those are, you compare it to that if your cervix feels like the tip of your nose, your lips, or your chin. And then also the cervix is like a little donut in there, and so when you touch it, actually it's like a donut hole, that's what I like to think of it, or the hole of a donut. If it is open, like you can get your finger in there, then your cervix is open. That's when you're likely preparing for ovulation. It opens up a little bit also when you have your period, because that's how it's coming out. But obviously it needs to be open for the sperm to get in there. So those are just some things of checking your cervix. DPO we already talked about, days post ovulation. Sometimes you'll hear ladies who are doing medicated cycles talk about E2 or P4. E2 is estradiol or estrogen that is being measured by your RE, and P4 is progesterone, which happens after you ovulate, which is what makes your temperature rise on the BBT. EPT is early pregnancy test. Sometimes you'll also see HPT, which is home pregnancy test. Egg white cervical mucus, we already covered that. EWCM. FMU, first morning urine. So some of the tests that you take require first morning urine. So you'll see women say, I use FMU, or in the afternoon, like the clear blue advanced digital ovulation kit is the one I can think of that likes the afternoon urine, but most pregnancy tests and OPKs like the FMU, which is first morning urine. OPK is ovulation prediction kit. So I don't know why they call it a kit. It's just an ovulation test. For whatever reason from the boards, it's called an OPK. So you're testing your ovulation, predicting your ovulation. It's fun to remember, or important to remember, that just because your ovulation is predicted doesn't mean it actually happened. So you could take an OPK and it's positive and you think, oh, I'm going to ovulate in like 24 to 36 hours. Not necessarily. Your body could have started the ovulation process and then abandoned it. So just because it predicted it doesn't mean it actually happened, which is why charting your temperature helps. If you get that rise, then you know because of the progesterone that you ovulated. And if you're wondering why there's progesterone, when you ovulate, your egg is coming out of a follicle. Once the follicle releases the egg, it becomes a corpus luteum, and that corpus luteum sends out progesterone to your body. That is helping transition your lining. That progesterone is what's giving you the rise. So once that progesterone is coming out, it's coming out where that egg was released. So that's how you confirm that the egg is gone and you ovulated. HPT we covered, home pregnancy test. LH, some of the ladies, you'll hear them mentioning luteinizing hormone. That's the hormone that you're testing for when you take the OPK, when you take the ovulation prediction kit. The LH, luteinizing hormone, is what surges right before your ovulation. IVF, in vitro fertilization. In vitro just means outside of the body, so it's happening in a petri dish or somewhere in a lab. It's not happening in the body. Sometimes you'll see pregnancy tests that say in vitro. It just means outside of the body. Let's see, luteinizing hormone, we did that. LP, luteal phase, that is the period from after you ovulate, so DPO1, until your next period. So those number of days, like you want it to be at least 10. If it's less than 10, then you have an LPD, a luteal phase defect, meaning it's really not enough time if you get pregnant for the little blastocyst to burrow into your uterine lining. OPK we covered is ovulation prediction kit. O is ovulation, which is where like DPO, days post ovulation. POAS, a lot of us who are TTC, which is trying to conceive, are POAS addicts, which means we like to pee on a stick. So POAS stands for pee on a stick. Even though some of us are peeing in a cup and dipping, we still call it POAS. POAS addict. Yes. RE, reproductive endocrinologist. So that is endocrinology has to do with your hormones. Reproductive endocrinologist has to do with your reproductive hormones. So that's a special doctor, also called a fertility doctor, that's going to help us get pregnant. SMBC or SMC is single mother by choice, like me. If you are doing it without the intention of co-parenting with anyone, you are an SMC. 2-week wait, so TWW or the number 2 WW, I see it both ways. 2-week wait is the period after ovulation and before your period starts, before your menses, before you start bleeding, before AF shows up. It's called 2 weeks because ideally that luteal phase, which is what the 2 week is reflecting, is 14 days, which equals 2 weeks. Sometimes, as I said, it's 10. Sometimes it's longer than that. It's typically the same. Once you, like if you've charted your temperature, once you know what your luteal phase is, it's typically the same. After my miscarriage, my luteal phase was 13 days, and now through acupuncture, I've extended it to 15 days. So my 2 week wait is 2 weeks and a day, but basically the 2-week wait is the period after you've baby danced, you've timed your ovulation, you've had great sex and gotten the sperm where it went to go, or whatever, however you're inseminating, you've introduced sperm in some way, and you're waiting for that period before you can take a test where it will detect the HCG, which is the human chorionic gonadotropin, which is the pregnancy hormone. Once the HCG is detectable on a test, you will get a BFP, or big fat pregnancy test. Yeah, so I think that's all I have for you guys. I want to keep it short. It's an introductory sort of acronym. I know there's a lot in the TTC land. Again, TTC is trying to conceive. If you have any questions, or you come across any other acronyms that you don't know what they are, leave me a note down below, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. I hope you are well, ladies. This is my last day before I go to California, so I thought I would do this video. I've straightened my hair, but it's gone crazy because it rained and it was hot as blue blazes in New York, but I made an effort, so we'll see, and I'll re-straighten it when I get to California. It was great hanging out with you, ladies. I hope you are well. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Baby dust to you all.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you.